Hello everyone and welcome to the 10th episode of my Forza Flashback series. Now what I've got for you today is, well, I've got two races, but this is the main one that you're watching now, and it isn't a comeback and it's not a domination like kind of what you've seen before. This is actually quite a close race between someone who's quite skilled as well. Now at this point in my Forza sort of online history, I was quite an accomplished racer. I was confident in what I was doing, and it wasn't very often that I would come across someone who could actually race me for a win. But in this race, what you'll see is this one guy who's behind me will actually push me all the way, and at one point get in front of me. So I started off pretty much as normal and had quite a good start and got in the lead quite early. But then on this corner I actually went a bit too wide, and that allowed the guy behind me to catch up a little bit. And then when it comes down to this corner at the bottom of the straight, I actually braked far too early and lost a lot of speed over that by cutting that corner there. Then I lost a lot of speed because I didn't have the right line going into the final corner, and the guy I was racing against got in front of me. Now what I've got showing you on the video is both of our perspectives throughout the whole race. There's going to be, I'm not going to be looking back at all on any of the videos, on any of the cars. I'm just going to show both perspectives throughout the whole race, so you can see exactly what's going on wherever we are. Now what happened at this point is I started to overdrive the car, because I wasn't used to actually having someone who could race with me. So I started to try a little bit too hard, and you saw in that first corner I went a bit too wide. In this corner I went a bit too wide as well, although throughout this whole section, this infield section of the track, I actually do catch up to the guy who I'm racing against. And I think at the time it was clear to me that as long as I actually did what I knew I could do and actually hit my lines and apexes and all that, I could beat this guy. But because I was under pressure, I just couldn't do that as well as I normally would. And as you see again on this corner, I lost a lot of time to him after catching up in the infield section. So this is only a 3-lap race, and this is the end of the second lap. So we've only got one more lap to go. And really at this point I'm just trying to rack my brains on how I'm going to beat this guy. And I know that I've been messing up on some corners, so I kind of have to calm myself down mid-race and try to hit my lines and hit my apexes as well as I can. Now I did it quite well there on that first corner, but then went a little bit too wide for the next corner. But then when we get to the infield section here, I know that this is my strength, and this is where I really need to make it count. So I brake at the exact right moment and get the really nice line around that corner, which I catch up quite a lot. The video messes up here for some reason, but throughout that infield section I do manage to overtake him and get into first place. Now that I know, I just have to keep it nice and neat and tidy around this whole section, which I do, and around that part in particular I'm a lot better than what I was before. So now it's just this final corner which I've been losing time on him all through the race. I brake a lot later and carry a lot more speed throughout both parts of the corner and manage to keep him behind me. And you also see that he overdrives his car right at the end by taking the last corner a bit too wide. So basically that's this race over with, and I just wanted to sort of show it as, you know, there are certain points where you're not going to dominate a race, and it's not always as easy as what you might make it out to be. But this is the second race that I'm showing you, and it's pretty much the polar opposite of what you've just seen. Now contact is on in this race, but I managed to get right around the outside, as you see there. It's only a 1-lap race, which was quite rare at the time. But as you see right there, I kind of have no real issues because all of these guys fight and eventually they all take each other off. So all 4 cars behind me took each other off, and I have quite an easy run to the finish. Now you'll see it from the perspective of one of the cars that went off the track. As you see, I went right around the outside and I managed to get a bit of a gap, which was handy because when all these guys run into each other, it's kind of just like a concertina effect, and they all just take each other out, as you see right here. So it's an easy run for me to the finish, and I'll just let that play out whilst I finish up this commentary. So basically what I wanted, the reason I wanted to show this video is just, you know, there aren't, yes, a lot of, if you're kind of a good racer, a lot of your races may be like this second race where you're just going to go out there, dominate, and you're going to have a pretty, well, boring time of it because you're not going to be challenged. But what you've always got to remember is that there are good races out there as well, and when you are challenged, you need to be calm, you need to stay calm all the time and make sure you just do what you need to do in the race. You know, what I would get pressured sometimes, and that affects what I want to do in the race. As you saw in the first race, I couldn't get my lines right into corners, I was braking too late, I was overdriving the car. And you need to worry about that when you are, you know, in a battle like that. You need to just keep calm and do your own thing and not worry too much about what anyone else is doing. So, just as this video wraps up, I'd just like to know what your experiences are of being pressured in races, and do you kind of crumble under the pressure, or are you quite good at doing your own thing? Let me know in the comments, guys, and thanks for watching. See you next time.